I was hoping that gas was going to go down so I could do something, you know. You can't do anything with gas prices, and you just can't afford to breathe at this point.
Well, I can get laid off tomorrow, then I'm pretty much homeless. Because, you know, you can't save now.
No, I'm good on Trump, man. That's all I got to say.
What does it feel like to be living in these conditions right now, in these economic conditions right now?
Hurt. Very hurt. I try to do... Sorry, I cried. I try to do a lot for my kids, and I can't do much.
If you could send a message to the president right now, what would you tell him?
He needs to look out for the American people instead of himself. Put us first.
Does America feel great again?
No, not at all.
We're still struggling even when we have our money coming through. We had to suffer going almost a week with no food.
The economy's down the tubes. Healthcare is awful. Prescriptions are terrible. Groceries are off the charts. And I think the only way we're going to do better is if he gets out and somebody else gets in.
One thing I love about some of these videos is the MAGA people that are making these apology videos for voting for this administration. This one is funny. It's quick. She's like, I just won't say I'm sorry. I have to vote for him.
I need to say I'm sorry. I voted for him.
I'm real sorry. I didn't know. I thought he was going to make things better for us.
I thought he was going to help folks like me. I really did.
Now my staff gone. I came back my groceries. I can't put my lights on. First of all, the groceries you shouldn't worry about. Anyway, I just can't believe it now.
They cut off my heat and help last week. I don't know how I'm supposed to buy groceries next month to keep the lights on.
Now, what about my diabetes? My diabetes, man, is acting up. Can't feel my foot, can't feel my feet, and I didn't even know to do.
Now my SNAP's gone, my Medicaid's gone.
Get out of here. This is what you voted for. You voted because you thought black people were going to get f***ed, didn't you? Black folks, especially black Americans, have been living with nothing for the longest time. So surviving is very, very easy. Very easy. You understand? That's why black folks are playing it smart. We're moving as a unit. You know, other than some of the sellout but other than that, black people are moving in a way where we're not even being bothered. Oh my God. Oh my God, the country's in shambles. Oh, they're being unfair. Black folks are like, yo, man, I'm going to Costco. What you about to do? So, hey, man, it is what it is. You voted for your own demise, and that's just the way it goes.
Not proud of it. Man enough to say it. I was one of those guys back in 2020, 2024, shit, even 2016 before I could vote. I was all for Trump. I was all for MAGA. I believed he was going to make America great again. I believed he was going to drain the swamp. I thought he was going to be different. He wasn't a career politician, and boy, was I wrong. My views didn't change. They still remain the same. I did fall for the deception, though, because I can't in good conscience support someone who's responsible for a pointless war where thousands of innocent lives are dying every single day. I can't support someone who mocked Christ on Easter. I sure as hell can't support someone who calls the people who want transparency on one of the most heinous and insidious acts in human history, the Epstein files, calls them liars and lunatics. He's probably a part of it himself. Can't support that. When it comes to politics, it's hard to even align myself with one of the parties because they're both being controlled by the same puppeteers at the top. So I was wrong. Not proud of it. Man enough to say it.
Hello guys, white Americans are getting a reality check after voting to hurt black Americans. Black Americans are striving while white Americans are struggling. This video here today is of much interest to you if you are into Trump news, hot gossip regarding white Americans, and hot trending news in black American perspective. Watch this short coverage till the end so that we can be on the same page. Share your response on the comment section below and I will humbly respond to you. And if it's your first time here, consider hitting the subscribe icon below and I'll continue championing for the rights of black Americans in a white supremacist world. With the first video we have just watched, it is of white Americans clearly showcasing the world that they are hurting in Trump's economy. Fafo is here with them. Let them embrace what they voted in for. Black Americans for the longest time possible have been in America. They know America inside and out and they are immune to hardship, and that's exactly why they are silent in this. Watch this short compilation of videos I have, and at the end I'll have more strong commentary on this episode. White Americans are struggling and they are hurting as Trump economic policies are hurting them. Healthcare is becoming expensive, they are losing the SNAP benefits, gas, oil of prices are high, and black Americans are not complaining about this. They are happy. White Americans are finally getting their reality check. Let's watch.
I regret my vote. I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump. And now, in the first few weeks of his presidency, Thousands of people are losing their jobs. I lost my job. I was the director of operations of bear studies. For the last 4 years, we've been studying whether or not bears in fact woods. And now it's gone. It's all gone. What am I supposed to tell my family? What am I supposed to tell them? If you voted for Trump, I don't even know what to say. All the money being taken, and all the jobs being lost. I don't know what to do.
White people are trying to figure out how and why black people have collectively withdrawn from this country, essentially. And it's clear to me that a lot of y'all have never been in a toxic relationship. And unfortunately, I have. But let me tell you how this goes. In a toxic relationship, you usually have one person who isn't, right? It's usually the man. And the man is, emotionally abusive. He is a cheater. He's a liar. He's a manipulator. He gaslights. He's narcissistic. But he also has a lot of potential, right? He also can be very loving. He also promises things to come in the future, right? He also can be very exciting at times. And those things keep the woman around. But when things are bad, goes up, right? Windows get broken, cars get scratched up, TVs get shattered, broken glass everywhere. Just a lot of chaos in these situations at times, right? And this goes on. These ebbs and flows, these ups and downs go on for years sometimes. But at some point, the abused party in his relationship just completely wakes up and decides that he or she is over it, right? And when that happens, there is no blow up. There is no broken windows. There is no shattered windshields. There is no scratched up cars. There's just calm, right? There's folded clothes. There's neatly packed possessions. That person decides to go on about their business. And that's where black people are with this country at this point, right? Like, we're just sick of y'all. And we're not going to protest. We're not rioting. We're not doing none of that. You know what I mean? Most of us are just simply withdrawing, going on about our business and surviving like we know how to, like we have always done since before this country was founded.
The reason why poor white people continue to support Donald Trump, even though his policy directly makes their lives even worse, is because they don't actually vote for politicians on the basis of policy. They actually vote for ideology. Donald Trump embodies whiteness and he upholds white supremacy. And for a lot of poor white people who have accomplished nothing in life, who have very little access to opportunity, upholding something that gives them worth, even though it's based on the one thing that they had no control over, even though it's based on a lie, is more important than fighting for a system where everyone benefits. And this is why there's always a sort of state of confusion when people say, how can you vote against universal health care? Why would you not want more money going to schools? Why are you okay with a politician blatantly taking your tax dollars and pocketing it, rather than using it for the greater good? When poor Europeans came to America, they received a benefit in America that they were not afforded in Europe. And that was whiteness. And all they had to do was abandon everything they learned in Europe, abandon their heritage, their language, their customs, their traditions, anglicize their names, and they were afforded every single privilege that they did not have in Europe. They could be entrepreneurs, have access to loans, send their children to good schools. They were finally on the top of the hierarchy. And I don't think people realize how much success in building wealth and having money is tied up into whiteness. It is a political term that was born out of capitalism. And so for these white people who have not actually succeeded under this system, Whiteness means everything to them. This is why you have poor people who are so against systems like socialism, even though it would give them more power. It would give them more agency. That would actually require that they give up the one thing that they value the most, the one thing that gives them value. And if that means worshiping someone like Donald Trump, while he destroys Social Security, makes their lives more unaffordable, makes it more difficult for them to access healthcare, that is what they're willing to sacrifice.
The inevitable is happening. The thing we as black people have known all along about this administration in power, how our rights were being infringed on, how the country would spiral, how women's bodies would be controlled, how education would be gutted, and how the rich would get richer and the poor would get poorer. Because the only difference between this...
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him, we're implicated in this for sure. But the question does present itself immediately, like, what is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but like clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
There are aspects of his personality which are obviously not good and that we've mostly just chosen to overlook. You know, he's not a moral man. He's obviously not the greatest husband in the world. You know, cost of American lives isn't the motivator. It's just that Trump has moved on to other things because he has the attention span of a gnat.
And this.
And what American is this helping? Besides the industrial war complex, I just don't know. I don't understand. So yeah, that's what our president's up to, and it's...
Isn't you had a change in morality or a different point of view. You're just now impacted. And what a spineless way to live. You say to yourself, I'm okay if marginalized groups are impacted as long as my positioning as a white person is unchanged in this country. We knew. So when you ask,
what does the black community see that we don't, that's allowing them to totally let go?
We saw you. We saw our parents and grandparents fight for their rights as humans. We saw how at every turn, the only thing people in America, white American men, and those white American women who feed into racism and the patriarchy want is capitalistic system where black people don't benefit, women stay in their place, the masses remain uneducated, and America stays white. So yes, we knew. MAGA voters are speaking out against Trump. Farmers are watching crops rot because of tariffs, federal workers losing jobs they thought were safe, veterans seeing benefits get cut. But none of this is shocking because the policy didn't change. Their proximity to it did. This pattern is as old as oppression itself. If we go back to the Reconstruction era after the Civil War, poor white and black farmers were in the same economic boats, exploited by the same landowners, crushed by the same debt systems. They actually started organizing together. The populist movement was building real cross-racial working class power, but the planter class got panicked. They did not want poor people joining up against wealthy people. So they did what ruling classes always do. They offered poor white farmers something black farmers couldn't have: social status, the feeling of being above somebody. Jim Crow wasn't just about hate. It was a political strategy to break solidarity before it became a threat, and it worked. Poor white Southerners voted against their own economic interests for generations, even until today, because they were giving the psychological wage of whiteness instead of actual wages. Fast forward to the New Deal, FDR's programs of Social Security, labor protections, the right to organize were genuinely transformative. But to get Southern Democrats on board, they excluded the jobs black people were most likely to hold. Domestic workers, agricultural laborers, left out by design. White workers built generational wealth on those programs. Black workers were locked out altogether. So when someone says the government used to work for regular people, it did. Just not all of them, and just not all of us. And these are the same sentiments of MAGA today. Ida B. Wells warned us. She said, a country willing to use terror against black people had already proven it would use terror as a tool, period. The weapon doesn't retire once it's done with one group. MLK said in the Birmingham jail, he wasn't just frustrated with the segregationists, he was frustrated with the white moderates who thought they could stay comfortable while injustice ran its course. Injustice doesn't run its course. Frederick Douglass understood that freedom, if it wasn't protected for everyone, was just a loan. One thing we know about loans is that loans get called in. But in this country, if we had built and defended the political infrastructure to protect minority rights when black communities were screaming that these systems were dangerous, everyone would have protections right now and rights today. Now we're watching tariffs gut the same farming communities that cheered trade wars aimed at protecting them. Federal jobs disappearing from the same towns that voted to shrink government because the cuts were supposed to hit someone else. The tools they're using on immigrants, on black voters, and now the white working class Americans, same tools are now pointed somewhere new. You cannot outsource your freedom to someone else's oppression and expect to stay free. The only way any of us stay protected is if the system is built to protect all of us. America is in a very precarious place. And if we just believe black people, if we just granted black people equal protections and rights and freedoms under the law without the need for us to be in this centuries-long fight, then maybe, just maybe, we all would have adequate protections and not fall into a despot running our country dry while enriching his helm of billionaires. You ask black people, what did we see that you didn't see? We saw our story and our history. Stay black. Stay blessed.
Majority of white Americans are regretting voting in for Trump. They voted for Trump so that they can hurt black Americans. But don't they know that black Americans are immune to hardship? Each and every economic sanctions Trump is putting in America, black Americans have faced it. As from the videos we have just watched, what do you have to say about this? Are you satisfied with how Trump is handling America? The midterm elections are around the corner. Voting for the right leader, choose the right leader whom black Americans will stand for. They warned white people against voting in for Trump, but it fell on deaf ears. They went ahead and voted in for Trump. Sources are saying that Democrats have a higher percentage of winning the midterm elections as opposed to Republicans. Which between the two sides will you go for? Is it the Democrat side or the Republican side? Trump is only there to enrich his pockets and his billion-dollar dynasty. His accounts have been frozen because of money laundering, and I'll have a full episode for you people on how Trump is draining US Treasury with money laundering and these accounts are getting frozen. Stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, and I'll keep you more posted and updated. Black Americans, hear this out. White Americans are always against you. They voted in for Trump so that you people can get hurt. But Fafo is here with them. Let them embrace what they voted in for. The Latin community, the Hispanic community, the Somali community, all were won by black Americans. Now that things are getting out of hand, they are busy running in black and claiming that why are black people silent in this? This is none of their business. Their life is going on perfectly. How do you get to see why white Americans are always angry at black Americans? It is because of such instances like the one discussing here right now. They always want blacks to suffer. The rest of slurs, the N-word they keep on calling you on the streets, on the shopping malls, it shows that they are not happy you people are not suffering. Thank you for staying with me till here right now, and on the next episode I'll continue showcasing to you what black Americans face in their day-to-day activities in America and how white Americans continue to downgrade black immigrants, black America, the indigenous black people. Trump is not there to take care of your needs. Trump is not there to take care of any law-abiding American citizens. Look at the manner in which he is deporting immigrants away from America. It shows that immigrants in America also count in the bracket of voters in America, and that's why Trump is busy deporting them away. The recent community to be hit with deportations in America is the Haitians, who their TPS was expired. They were warned, they didn't listen. Black Americans, be on the watch out. White supremacists are always against you. Look at what Trump is busy doing. Health insurance is expensive right now in America, and if you can afford it, the premiums per month are unbearable. Trump is taking away the SNAP benefits, the ABT cards, of which they are supposed to help the low-income earners. They expected blacks to complain about the rising cost of groceries, but it is actually the other way around. They are the ones who are complaining, they are the ones who are struggling. Fafo is hitting them hard and harder. Thank you for watching, and thank you for staying with me till here right now. God bless you, and goodbye.